Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to learn about different verbs that you can use to describe the trends in writing task 1. If you already know the verbs, that's okay, you can skip this video. We'll start with a challenge. So I want you to copy this table onto a piece of paper. So pause this video now and go get that paper and pencil and start drawing this table. The first table that you see here, and then we'll copy down the same table but just a few more verbs over here. I'll let this stay on the screen for the next 20 seconds. You finished copying down the table. I want you to then write down if the verb is going up or down, the past simple, the third form of the verb, and then the noun form. I'll show you an example. So, for example, for the first verb that you see is to increase, do you think it's going up or down? You guessed it right. It is going up. The past simple would be increased. The third form is also increased. And the noun form is an increase. So these are the three forms that you need to know. Okay, so pause this video right now and go ahead and complete the rest of the verbs. Okay, welcome back. To grow. What do you think? To grow means to go up. The past simple is grew. The third form is grown. And the noun form is growth. To rise means going up. Past simple would be rose, rise, rose. Third form, risen. And noun form would be arise. Arise. Two different words, the article, and rise. To surge. The surge is going up, but it's to go up a bit quickly. So I'm just going to say up, and it's going fast. For example, house prices in Toronto have surged in the past year. So that means house prices have gone up really quickly. It's gone up pretty fast. So I'm just going to say up and fast here. Past simple would be surged. Third form is also surged. The noun is a surge. To rocket. So obviously it's going up. Rocket goes up. And is it fast or slow? You guessed it, that's fast. Past simple would be rocketed. The third form would also be rocketed. And the noun form is a rocket. To fall. Up or down? It's going down. Past simple is fell. Third form is fallen. The noun form is a fall. To decrease is the opposite of increase. So it's going down. Ooh. Capital down. Ooh. Ooh. Down. Past simple is decrease. My spelling is off today. Decreased. Whoop. Decreased again. for your third form, and the noun form is the same as increase, but we say a decrease because of D. To drop is to go down. Past simple is dropped, PP, ED. A lot of people forget to say the PP. It's dropped. Third form is also dropped. And the noun is a drop. Decline is to go down. Past simple is declined. The third form is also declined. And the noun form would be a decline. Okay. Let's go on to collapsed. Collapsed is going down. But let's say, for example, during an earthquake, you know, if there's an earthquake, the buildings, how do you think they fall down? They fall down pretty fast. They collapsed, right? That's what we say. So basically, collapse is the opposite of surge and rocket. It's to go down. It's going down pretty fast. Okay, so house prices have collapsed in Toronto. It's a joke, but yes. The past simple would be collapsed. Third form is also collapsed. And the noun is a collapse. As you can see, the noun form is mostly similar to the actual verb itself, except for, I think in this case, to grow, we'd say growth. Okay, right, so let's move on to the second table. To recover. Recover is a bit interesting because in the sense, something that was doing very well, which is going up, something that was going very down. For example, house prices collapsed in Toronto and they are now recovering, which means it was down first and then it's going up, or it's going back to the same state. So you can imagine this word as down first and then up. So a bit of both, right? Let's imagine if a child was ill, so his health was going down and now he's recovering. So his health is becoming better, it's going up. So that's why we say that verb, to recover. So if you see a trend that's going up and then, going down and then up, we would say recover. Past simple would be recovered. Third form is also recovered. And the noun would be recovery. Improve. Now, improve and recover are synonyms. So I'm just going to say the same thing here. It was down first and then up. Okay, so my health is improving. House prices in Toronto have improved, for example. Past simple would be improved. Third form is also improved. And what do you think the noun is? An improvement. Well done. Okay. Remember, you don't have to get all of these verbs right. We're learning now, so make mistakes. It's totally okay. I'm happy that you make the mistakes here whilst I show you my video, rather than go to the actual exam and then make a mistake. So yes, fluctuate. Let's go on to fluctuate. Fluctuate is basically going up and down. It's not like recovery. It's, for example, it was up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So this is what we call fluctuations, constantly going up and down, up and down. So So the past simple would be fluctuated. And the noun would be fluctuation. An example to, when you talk about fluctuate is when I was a little kid, in our house we had constant fluctuations of electricity when the electricity used to go up and down, and you could see the bulbs dimming back and forth. It used to happen really quickly. So this up and down is fluctuate, if you want to think about it that way. Vary is the same as a synonym of the verb to fluctuate. So it's the same, up and down, up and down, up and down. The past simple is varied. Watch the spelling. It's V-A-R-I-E-D, not V-A-R-Y-E-D. Don't make silly spelling mistakes that way. Third form is also varied, and the noun form is a variation. You can also say a fluctuation. It's also fine. Okay, so vary is a variation. Stabilize. So let's say, for example, house prices in Toronto were fluctuating. They're going up and down and up and down and up and down, and then they stabilized. That means they stayed the same. They were steady. It was remaining constant. And you can see that's actually our next verb. So after a lot of fluctuation, it's staying the same. Stabilize. So you can say up and down, and then same. Then the same level, if you want to think about it. So, okay. Past simple would be stabilized. Some people say stabilized. So you can use the Z or the Z if you want, however you say it. American, British, English. Stabilized. Both are correct. In the IELTS, you can use both American English, you can use American spelling, you can use the British spelling. It's totally fine. Noun would be, any guesses? A stabilization. Perfect. Ooh, it's a Z if you want to use a Z. Okay, thank you for catching that. To remain constant, steady, or stable is obviously the synonym for the verb stabilize. So we're just going to say the same thing, up and down, and then the same level. Whoa. Past simple would be remained stable at. The only verb that we change is to remain. So you can say remained stable at. Stable at, remained constant at, remained steady at. They're all the same. I'm just going to copy this onto the third form because that's the same. There is no noun form. Okay, so because it is a phrasal verb. And there you go. So let's look at what we have so far. So you got so many verbs to describe your next trend. Some of which you might already know, some of which you've learned now, I hope. Okay. Pause this video at any point of time so that you can take notes. I just wanted to show you a quick example of why have we learned 3 forms of the same verb. In the IELTS writing task 1 essay, you want to change the different ways of saying your sentences. Now, for example, let's just take the first verb, to increase. Okay, so let's say house prices in Toronto have increased. Okay, well, that would be the third form. House prices in Toronto increased in 2010. Well, let's say something more late, 2018. Whoop. That would be the past simple version. Saying it using the third form would be house prices in Toronto have increased in 2018. So that would be the third form. The noun form, slightly different. You say there was, if it was in the past, or you say there was. If it's present, you can say there is. There was an increase in house price. House price in Toronto, 2018. So that's the noun form. Using all these 3 variations would show that you have a slightly better grammar level. And it also stops you from always saying house prices increased, house prices grew, house prices rose, and it's just boring. So learning these 3 forms, and if you think about it, it's mostly similar. And you can keep varying it in your sentences to show that you have a wider range of grammatical structures. I hope you found this useful. Okay, so let's move on from verbs to adjectives. Take a minute to draw this table out on a piece of paper or in your notebook. And then after that, copy this table down into your notebook as well. I'm going to pause the video. Wait, you can pause the video now if you like. I'm just going to let it stay for another 10 seconds. Okay, now go ahead and complete the table. And once you've finished, we'll look at the answers. So why do we need adjectives? I'll tell you why. It's a good question. Not because I asked, because students always ask me, why do I need to learn the verbs? Now I need the adjectives. The answer is simple. It's basically to show off your language. The more you show off, the better it is going to be for you in your IELTS band score for your writing test. Let's go back to that same example. House prices in Toronto have increased in 2018. Oh, 18. Okay. So it just means house price in Toronto increased. The information said it just went from, for example, from $400,000 to $500,000. So it was increasing. It increased. To give a bit more information, we use adjectives. So for example, let's say if the house prices in Toronto increased from $500,000 to $1 million, so it was pretty quick. So $500,000 to $1 million, like in the same year. So you want to say have increased sharply. So your adjective is sharp. So your adverb, which is the word that comes after your verb, the additional verb, if you want to think about it that way, in 2018. So now you have a bit more information. You've used a nice third form of the verb. You have an adjective to give it, an adverb, pardon me, to give it some more information. It's amazing. You show off your language that way. Okay, let's go on to the adverb. Now, sharp, the adverb would be obviously sharply. How much of a difference? Sharp is a lot. So you want to say a lot. Dramatic would be dramatically. How much difference do you think? A lot as well. Significant. Significantly. And a lot. Considerable. Considerably. And it's a lot as well. Steep. Steeply. A lot too. Rapid. Rapidly. Rapidly has an element of speed. So unlike steep, considerable, significant, and dramatic and sharp, where it's gone up very quickly, rapidly has an element of speed in it. So if something was very quick, rapidly. But you can use all these adverbs as synonyms. It's fine. How much of a difference? A lot. Steady would be steadily. Make sure you get the spelling right. How much of a difference? It's not a lot. For example, let's say house prices in Toronto in 2017 were $500,000. In 2018, they were $600,000. In 2019, it was $700,000. So it's gone up step by step. So steady has this sort of step by step difference. It's not a lot. It's going up, but it's increasing step by step. Enormous, as you know, is enormously. It's a lot. Substantial, substantially. Make sure you get the spelling right. There's a 2L there. There's 2 L's there, pardon me. Substantial is also a lot. Okay. Relative. Relative means it depends on something else. For example, I'll give you an example here. Let's take house prices again. You're probably wondering why I love this example of house prices in Toronto. House prices in Toronto have increased relatively slower than in Vancouver, which is another city in Canada. Which means when you're comparing two different cities or two different things, you can use the relatively. So it depends on those two. So for example, house prices in Toronto, the house prices were much lesser than in Vancouver. The adverb, obviously, as you've seen below, is relatively. We're not going to talk about how much of a difference because it depends on the two things that you're comparing. It could be up, it could be down. Slight would be slightly. How much of a difference? A little. House prices in Toronto have increased slightly. Gentle, gently, a little. It's an element of slowness in there. Is there an adverb for a little? No, you can't say a littly. It's just a little, so we won't write anything here. How much of a difference? Well, a little is a little difference. Gradual, gradually, a little. It's got an element of slow there. It's going up slowly, or it's going down. If something is going down slowly, we can also say house prices in Toronto have decreased gradually. So they're going down step by step. Or going up step by step. Market. What do you think? Whoa, markedly. How much of a difference? A lot. Moderate. Moderately. Moderate is not a lot. So I'm going to write this way. Not a lot and not little. So somewhere in between. Minimal. Minimally. And watch the spelling here. There's two L's. How much of a difference? A little. Quick, swift, sudden. They're all synonyms. So we can just say quickly, swiftly, suddenly. My favorite among all these three adjectives or adverbs would be swiftly. I like that. Why I like swiftly is because it's not so common. A lot of people say quickly, quickly, suddenly, suddenly. Swiftly is nice. How much of a difference? A lot. There's an element of speed there, so I'm going to say fast. All right, so you've learned a whole bunch of adjectives that now you can use in your next IELTS writing task essay. When it comes to trends, obviously. You've also learned a lot of verbs. So make your sentences using the verbs and your adjectives to give your IELTS essay a bit of a punch next time when you write. Thank you so much for watching and for bearing with me. So I'll see you in another video. Have I switched this off?